helped, as I drove the Zodiac, she slowly lowered in the container end first, right?
Yeah.
It was pretty slow.
It
It
was pretty slow.
was pretty slow. And then fed out the line, right? And then we kept that at a distance of about 15 feet. We had about a 15 feet of line behind, and we did a U-shaped pattern, okay? But we did not recover the same area, and we did it for a total of 10 minutes, okay? And probably half a knot, if that. Okay, so we went very slowly, collected quite a bit of plankton, obviously, in our sample, okay? And then once we got it back out, Sarah pulled it out, okay? Then she very carefully lowered in, and we transferred the contents of the container into a separate container. Then we use salt water to wash the salt water through the net and the mesh and try and pick up all those little pieces of plankton, algae, all things, and push it through back into a sealed container, right? What's that? Yeah, and then she practiced her knot tying skills, which is also very important in life. Okay, so how did it go? What did you think?
It was fun.
What was fun about it?
The jellyfish.
Yeah. So that was part of the fun, right? So when you're when you're roaming around, it's not just about taking data and observations, but also you get to encounter so many things in the marine world, right? So now that we're back, we were able to concentrate and then use a pipette in order to put some of the sample that we collected into a petri dish, okay? And actually Sarah did all of that as well. We tried to get nice concentrated samples. We put it into this petri dish, and now what you're seeing is a mishmash of the small building blocks of our world. So one of the critters you might recognize is a copepod, okay? If you are a fan of SpongeBob SquarePants, as you should be, then you can see there's something with two antennas that's moving about, okay? All right, so we've got copepods, we've got amphipods. Most important part of all of this is that what you're seeing is a combination of zooplankton and phytoplankton. Phytoplankton being plant, okay? Phytoplankton is extremely important right now because it sits in the upper layer of our water, of the ocean, and at the surface it photosynthesizes. By photosynthesizing, what I mean is that it absorbs CO2 from the Earth's atmosphere, okay? And it takes it into its body. Then, as it continues on in life, there's a good chance it's not going to make it, or it will be eaten by a predator. That will go into the predator like a fish, okay? Or it will get trapped within the shell of the phytoplankton and sink to the bottom, along with the CO2 inside of it, okay? So that's very, very important, and what we're seeing here is live example of what we're trying to preserve and save in our world, because plankton is the building block of so many things in our world, right? Think of things that eat phytoplankton or zooplankton. We talked about it, remember?
Yeah,
Fish and stuff, perfect. That's a perfect answer. Yeah, exactly. So a lot of this stuff is in the larval stage of, or the beginning stages of being a sea star, right? Mm-hmm. Or being a seahorse, or being a fish, okay? So all of this stuff represents what will be the inhabitants of our ocean, but also what will take CO2 out of our air and our atmosphere and keep it so that we have air to breathe. And so it's something that we'll continue talking about this week, but these guys are also what we're talking about when we talk about microplastics, okay? When microplastics are affecting our world, what we're talking about is that they're being eaten by plankton, and then when other things come along to eat the plankton, they're taking that microplastic inside of them, and when we eat that fish, we ate that plankton, and we ate that microplastic, okay? So I think it's really important that both of us got a chance to see what we're talking about, because it's so small that when you put your hand in the water, you don't see it, but it's so important because it is literally what makes it possible for us to live.
We also saw trash today.
Yeah, we did. We had plastic in our water, right? And so we had to talk about that and how not all of the trash we see is so obvious. Super important that we take care of every piece of it the best we can, right? And recognize and find it and find ways to eliminate it, yeah? All right, and finally, what did we do? Because it was pretty big.
Wait, what?
We also filmed jellies.
Oh, yeah,
So, along with the fun, we filmed jellies and hope to show that to you as well. Okay, but thank you so much for learning just a little bit about plankton. Thank you very much for being part of our Citizen Science project today. Round of applause for Sarah on your vacation. Thank you. Yeah, round of applause for me too.